Yo guys, and welcome to the third episode of Stasis Chat. Tonight we have Shadow Maul
Howdy. How we all doing?
and our very special guest tonight, a Friendly Pest.
Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
We have got BMG joining us soon. He's just finishing over at XBL, where they've literally, just as we were about to start setting up, started talking about us. So hopefully we have a good increasing viewership tonight. So, Pest, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, I am a friendly VR enthusiast content creator. I run a YouTube channel, mostly long play VR content, also some hobby music creation that I do for fun when inspiration strikes me. I enjoy that a lot. Most of my intro music I've created with my ukulele and microphone. And then I'm pretty active on Twitter. I've been playing video games since I was 4 years old. 37 now, so big part of my life, something I've enjoyed for a long time, and I'm excited about the future. It gets better every day. So doing podcasts is kind of a new thing to me, participating in these. I've been fortunate enough to guest on a few, so I'm not nearly as nervous as I used to be. It's a good time, and I'm happy to be here.
I mean, I went from doing one podcast and then instantly into hosting. So
Yeah,
you've had it.
we just
You've
kind of
had it
threw you.
easy.
We just kind of threw you in the deep end, didn't we, Razza?
Yeah, just a little bit.
I actually used to host a podcast. I hosted Carry On Gaming, and we did. It was pre-recorded, so it didn't have the nerves of this. If something messed up bad, we could edit it out. And we used to create music projects together for upcoming games. Like we did one for Sea of Thieves. We did a Hoist the Colors cover. We did an Amazing Grace for Back for Blood that I thought was really cool. We did a Come Fly With Me for Flight Simulator coming to console. And then we also had a weekly show where we talked about games. And that group kind of fell apart. Everybody got busy. But I guess in that way, I've been in podcasting a little bit, but not live.
Well, this is the first time, not the first show, but the first time over the last month that I've actually been doing any form of podcasting. So I'm kind of there in the deep end, not really knowing what to do. Yeah.
What's there to do? This is just for fun anyway, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
your ADHD takes over whenever the need strikes for to fill the air. So well, there's always that to help us out. But
So if something gets intrigues me, I become hyper focused on it. So, and it'll get me excited. Quite a fun time when my ADHD kicks off, starts going on.
Isn't it? I'm a little that way too. That kind of manic personality. You take an interest in something and research it and learn every single thing there is to know about it. That's fun. There's a little bit of there's a little letdown on the other side, but it's fun.
You could technically say that I have a quest for knowledge. I've been called a know-it-all many times.
I think we're all on that, in some way, shape, or form.
Alright, what we're talking about today, Razza?
Well, I want to start with mainly the big news of today. Well, of the last 48 hours, with the fact that, well, GTA has been hacked. Rockstar's been hacked, and there's been a massive leak of.
I'm just trying to figure out which screen the hell I'm going to here. Jeez. There we go. I'll get the right one. Go on.
So yeah, I think that should be a big one. So I have like a small list. There it is.
I'm sorry, I'm just trying to get the right.
Yeah, we have a small list of details here. Female protagonist named Lucia, male named Jason, Bonnie and Clyde inspired in quotation marks. I'm going to add. Vice City present day setting with the Malibu Club returning. Leaked footage is mostly years old and doesn't reflect the final product at all, which we can all understand. Cars have interiors with lots of detail and animation. I think the first person is sticking from GTA 5.
Yeah.
Small robberies are full of detail, and PCs reacting to everything going on. That's the same as GTA 5.
Yeah, it is in a way because in GTA 5 they didn't kind of react. They didn't try to stop it. They just kind of screamed and ran off, or they just hunkered down in a ball and didn't do anything. So they did react, but not in a great way. It was a very simple, basic way.
Yeah, they just started screaming and running off, or decided to start shooting.
Nine times out of 10, though, they just ran off. They just ran out the door and ran off.
Yeah. And cops remember your vehicle model and plate. Now, if I remember rightly from when we were playing GTA 5, they do remember it.
They didn't in GTA 5. Because you used to be able to just you could escape the cops and then literally sit in front of them in the same car and they wouldn't react to it.
If I remember, if you're in first person mode, I mean single player mode, if you were driving around in a car that got up to a certain star level with the cops.
Yeah, I think they did at first, but I think people were getting annoyed with it, so Rockstar removed it. Or they disabled it, so I don't think it was one that really stuck. But I'm definitely looking forward to that, though, remembering the vehicle model / plate, because, that forces you to have to change car then.
And actually commit Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah. The whole point of the game.
And that's exactly what it started out as.
This is going to be exciting. I mean, I've seen a little bit of footage before the video I was watching before it got DMCA'd. It had a takedown notice put on it whilst I was only 5 minutes into the video, and this was a 20-minute video. And I literally sat there watching it, and all of a sudden it just started buffering and didn't go anywhere. I was like, what the fuck? So I refreshed, and it was just this video has been DMCA takedown. I was like, oh, well, that's good.
I sent one to you earlier, and I was in the middle of watching that, and you couldn't watch it.
Yeah.
And I mean,
they'll be back. People download that stuff. It'll be back. They change the name, zoom in, etc.
Well, it'll be on the Wayback Machine anyway.
You can't suppress those types of things. They will find their way to the surface.
It's like I say, it'll be on the Wayback Machine. If you don't know what the Wayback Machine is, it's basically a website archive. So it doesn't matter whether you're on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. If someone screenshotted it, it will be on there.
One thing that we can finally say, though, it can now sort off with the people saying, I found a disc.
Yeah. What was his name? What was the main one that kept doing it? That's done it for years.
Everyone proved him wrong. It began with an S. I can't remember.
Yeah. Oh, that's gonna bug me now. That's I can't remember his name.
It's doing well. You search that. I'll ask Pest. So what are your thoughts on it?
I'm of two minds, really. One, I'm pretty indifferent to the leak itself. I wouldn't expect it to reflect the quality of the game. And honestly, I don't like to know about games until they're within 6 months to a year of releasing, because I like to be excited for a game, and I think you can only sustain that for so long. If you find Halo Infinite was announced way too soon, I was very excited, and then it was going to come out, and then it was delayed. So I really only like to know about something until it's close, and they're sure it's going to come out. And then I like to become aware of it and research it and be excited about the features and stuff. Reading through the items you listed there, I like the premise of the kind of Bonnie and Clyde thing they're shooting for. And then the idea that they're going to push hard on NPCs reacting to what you do, I like that a lot because I enjoy simulations. I enjoy games that you can walk around in and it feels like you're in a real world to an extent. That's what I liked about Red Dead Redemption 2 so much, that you could spend a lot of time just in the world, lost in the simulation, and have fun and go do stuff that was completely unrelated to the game. And I feel like Cyberpunk, Grand Theft Auto 5, it's hard to do that very long before the holes become so apparent and obvious that you sort of lose interest. And it's like, man, I can only get this to react so many ways, and the simulation only goes so deep. So, I'm excited about it as a game that will eventually release, but I'm pretty indifferent to the leak because it's so far away.
Yeah. Also, it was Fernando.
Yeah.
What's that?
Fernando on YouTube. He was the one who kept saying, like, maybe 2 or 3 years after GTA 5 came out on the Xbox Ones, he kept going, "Oh, yeah, I've got a GTA 6 disc." All it was just a modded copy of GTA 5.
Oh, dude, his uncle probably works at Rockstar, bro. That was a real disc.
I love it. I love how you've said that, and BMG joins us.
Howdy, BMG. How you doing?
Good evening. Good evening. Oh, what's up, gamers? Awesome to see you here, Friendly Pest. Thank you for coming on.
Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Where's that shiny head at?
Oh, shit, yeah, my camera's not on. Sorry, hang on one sec.
And Rockstar have put out an announcement about it, a statement out.
Yeah, I will keep that now. If anyone hasn't read it, I mean, they should have by now. I mean,
If not, here it is.
old, but...
It says, a message from Rockstar Games. We recently suffered a network intrusion in which an unauthorized third party illegally accessed and downloaded confidential information from our systems, including early development footage for the next GTA 5, or next Grand Theft Auto, rather. I'm so used to reading it as that. At this time, we do not anticipate any disruption to our live game services, nor any long-term effect on the development of our ongoing projects. We are extremely disappointed to have any details of our next game shared with you all in this way. Our work on the next Grand Theft Auto game will continue as planned, and we remain as committed as ever to deliver an experience to you, our players, that truly exceeds your expectations. We will update everyone again soon, and of course we'll properly introduce you to this game when it is ready. We want to thank everyone for their ongoing support through the situation, the Rockstar Games team.
I like how it's been Grand Theft Auto 5 for so long that they should call the new one Grand Theft Auto 5 Part 6.
Well, click play.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely go with that.
I think Ryan's voice just killed itself.
Oh, dear. Well, I say I've played the Grand Theft Auto series from the very start. I've enjoyed all the games. I do, I bought 5 on everything going. We're probably going to be with it for another couple of years or so yet, because I think from the footage that was shown with Grand Theft Auto 6, obviously being hacked. It's alpha footage from 2 years ago, something like that. I think they said
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. It didn't even look that bad. It just looked like Grand Theft Auto, to be honest. And as we were sort of talking about just on the last show, it's kind of graphics are kind of the thing they polish up and do towards the end.
Yeah,
it's more making sure
at this stage, it's usually when the artists start getting on to doing like the higher detail graphics, because I noticed then that's just the low level stuff, the stuff that's under the ground is like placeholder graphics, if you will. But at this point is when they're like developing the mechanics and making sure they're working correctly.
Yeah, but I can see. I think it might maybe push their hand a little bit to get something put together, maybe by the end of the year, just to show off. Just to show, look, the game's really not that bad, and maybe because obviously we know they weren't going to show anything anytime soon. We knew the game was in development. They told us it was in development. They announced that they were working on it. It does look quite far along from what we were shown, but I do honestly think that it might push the hand to just come up, get something put together to have an official announcement trailer. I know they've said they're going to when it's ready, but maybe they might think, well, if we just give like a tease, just kind of change the narrative a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's been a bit of a bad day for leaks all around, because on top of that as well, Diablo 4 has leaked as well top of that. So yeah, there's think it was like, is it like 40 minutes of footage or something like that along them lines, or
Jeez.
cut up in chunks, has also been leaked. So it's it just seems to be a bit of a bad time, and you got I feel bad for these developers and publishers. A lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of passion goes into these things, and when it's not ready, you want people to see it when they feel it's ready in a ready state. And when you get things like this, that's it's leaked stuff before it's even should be shown, and then you get
Well,
people online, because the amount of stuff I've seen on Twitter, people going, "Oh, it looks awful, it looks bad. This game is in an awful state." And it's like
yeah,
you're
it's.
seeing old footage of alpha footage. It's
I mean, but this is one of the things that like, there's a YouTuber that I like to watch called Big Fry TV. Some people might have heard of him. And he's basically gone off on one on the community by saying, this game's, maybe 3 or 4 years from an actual finished game. But people are going in to say that it's fucking shit, and the Rockstar need to up the game and blah 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 blah. And it's like, well, hang on a minute, you're trying to critique a game that they've probably only been working on for a year, 2 years.
no, what, Grand Theft Auto?
Yeah, they've probably done that next to nothing at this moment in time.
2018 is when I think they started active development.
But so 4 years. So a game like GTA takes a long time to craft now, because I believe they're on the next generation of the Rage engine.
I couldn't tell you. I don't know.
So that, as far as I've heard, the Rage engine is quite difficult to develop for. Whereas some games might be moving on to Unreal Engine 5. It's like, there's lots of documentation for that. There's lots of how-tos.
And it's very easily accessed.
Yeah, it's free of charge. Anyone could go download it and make their own game, throw a load of assets together from the Unreal store. Anyone could do it.
Not even that. It's on the Epic Games.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You could go download it from
right there.
So easy. But and to say what Big Fry said is, these people need to fucking stop. They need to stop being such fucking snowflakes. Stop trying to critique a game that is far from finished. And go and critique something that is finished. Like, for instance, Halo Infinite.
Oh, wait a minute.
This is an example, But yeah, I would definitely recommend go and watch Big Fry TV. I love sitting there watching him rage at games, and like early access games on Steam. It's quite amusing.
I know there was another big leak today. I don't know if you saw Nvidia accidentally leaked an entire keynote.
Oh, right, because they had the presentation today, didn't they?
Yeah, that was a joke. I don't know. Like I said, I'm pretty indifferent. I don't care, and I don't think Twitter represents well the gaming community at large. And we've seen that time and time again, that Twitter will kind of universally be opposed to a game, and it comes out and it sells like crazy. Grand Theft Auto comes out, it's going to sell like crazy. So I'm pretty disinterested in people's reaction to this, even. You know what I mean? Because anybody with any sense isn't going to care what it looks like right now. They're going to care what it looks like when it's available for purchase. And people just like to have something to talk about.
This is a question to you, Pest. Have you found anything more about this Xbox VR thing that you found? I think you spoke about. I think it was on GPG.
Well, I have my own theory that I've not seen anyone else say, so that's never a good sign. But there was a leak that Microsoft was going to announce something on October 11th, and that just happens to be the same day that Meta, or Oculus, is doing a Meta Connect, and they're going to show off their new Quest Pro headset that's leaked several times. So I proposed the possibility that Microsoft and Xbox might form a partnership with Meta, rather than try to develop their own headset to compete with the PlayStation VR 2. Because I think pretty soon VR is going to be the new goalpost location, and Microsoft is starting to see that. especially because it's getting easier to put games on VR without investing a ton of money and resources in something that doesn't have a player base, which has always been the problem with new peripherals and hardware. And I think that's about to be overcome. I don't know if you guys noticed Half-Life 2 just recently got a free mod. You can play Half-Life 2 in VR. It's got full support, disconnect camera,
Oh.
manual reloads. And then there's another group creating what they call the VR injector. And any Unreal Engine game, you install this mod, bam, you can play that game in VR
I
to varying
also
degrees. Yeah, very cool.
I've been speaking to a friend of mine earlier, and he said that somebody is developing something completely new. No one's ever done it. It's for any game on any platform. When you're saying you could literally download it on your Xbox if you really wanted to through the Edge browser on there, and it's supposed to connect to DirectX and turn any game and all games into VR. Rather than doing what like Vorpex does, where it tries to use like the depth of field to create different layers, it's supposed to be completely converting the game into VR, whether it supports it or not.
It'll add that stereoscopic display, but then the game likely will still require to use a gamepad, so you'll be using the VR as a display as a way to access the games. That'll be interesting to see
And
what
then-
kind of performance hit you get on that,
Well, yeah,
especially on console, because you're not just rendering an image twice. It's a separate image because it's offset for that other eye.
yeah.
So that'll be interesting.
I wonder, if it is that's why, because, what's it called? The guy that owns Facebook, what's his name?
Zuckerberg.
Zuckerberg, yeah. Because he's came out in defense of Microsoft purchasing.
Exactly.
So it's like, why would you need to do that? I didn't. Thinking about it now, were you on about the obviously with the leak and stuff? It's like now it starts to make sense because imagine getting Call of Duty in VR, playing it on whether it's on PC or Xbox via the Meta headset. It actually makes more sense why they're coming out championing this this deal, and it's like fair enough.
No,
Again, I haven't seen anyone else say that theory that I've got. So,
No,
but it's
it'd
not
be
the first
interesting.
time. Yeah, it's not the first time that Xbox tried to have a partnership with Oculus. I mentioned that in 2013. It was on the Xbox Wire page that they were going to have a partnership with the Oculus Rift, and you would be able to play your Xbox One games with an Oculus Rift with a gamepad. You'd be like sitting on a couch in a virtual environment, play the game on a flat screen in front of you. That was on Xbox Wire, and it never came to fruition. So it wouldn't be the first time. And then when Mixer crashed, they pushed everybody to Facebook. So there's some
You
old
did, yeah.
Yep, there's some old ties there. So that's part of where my theory comes from. And I hope it's true. I hope it's true, and I hope that Game Pass gets worked into it somehow.
I don't personally think that it's gonna be like the Rift or the Quest, because when you said, I think it was on GPG, that you'd found something, I'd also found something in a game. I don't remember what game it was, but it specifically said on it Xbox Nova headset.
Interesting.
I was like,
The Xbox Nova, yeah.
I was
yeah,
like,
I've
hang
heard-
on a minute. So I went looking for it, and literally, I could search Xbox Nova now. It's like buy Nova 111. It's a sci-fi themed turn-based adventure game. I was like, hang on a minute, but that's not a headset. That's a game. But I cannot find anything to do with Nova.
Because the console, the Series X, I don't know about the Series S. I'm assuming the Series S might not be able to do it, but the Series X, I believe, is actually what it's got. Is actually could run a VR headset anyway, same as the PlayStation 5 is going to, because we know the PSVR 2 is a thing and it's one cable. So I believe everything the Series X has got is actually capable of running the headset anyway. So it's interesting. Yeah.
I've got another thing there. I think this is going to officially get announced in the next week or two. I got this from a leak, Project Ari, ARI, and it will be a USB dongle that you can plug into your PC. Say you don't have a Wi-Fi situation set up in your house and you want to use an Oculus Quest device over AirLink to play your PC VR games through that headset. They're going to release a dongle, and I think you're going to hear about that through official channels in the next week or two. Something
right,
like that
okay.
might be compatible with an Xbox, and then when you start talking about your performance concerns, and Shadow, you can Google this since you've got 15 screens. I think the Oculus Quest 2 is only around what you would consider equivalent power to the original Xbox One. The Oculus Quest 2 is it's a mobile device, and it runs games natively. So you do have some concerns there with your library, but the Series S will be at least twice as powerful as that.
Right,
But I don't know.
okay.
I don't know, and I know they've got this consistency across platforms. They want everything to be playable everywhere. So it'll be interesting, and I could kind of
So
see a partnership with a curated library and some port work. You could even transition the backwards compatibility team that's no longer doing that over to something like this to port these VR games.
So
So there are a
what
lot of ways this could become a reality without too much extra manpower.
this article I found is saying that you can use the Quest 2 with Xbox currently, but
I'm not aware of that.
it's not technically VR. So what I did it with my Rift. Basically, you can, if you've got Oculus open, you can then go and download the Xbox app from I think it's the Xbox VR app from the Microsoft Store, and the two apps communicate, and you'll actually be able to play, Xbox in a big ass screen in front of you. It's like full on like curved
It's
theater screen.
like the cinema thing. Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
the cinema thing. It's not proper VR. They're not made for in the
no.
VR. It's just like say the cinema screen type thing, which.
Sure.
But yeah, it's. Did you see anything on the PSVR 2? Or have you hit on that, or have you not?
We
I
haven't
don't know
yet.
what I've missed.
We haven't hit on that yet.
we just finished off with GTA.
Right. Okay. All right.
That's
Yeah,
what we
sorry.
started on.
I didn't know that's weird because I didn't know where you had started. So no worries.
I came across an article the other day. In fact, I forgot to put it in thing. I'll just put it in now. That literally it was a joke from the Among Us VR devs. It was literally just a joke.
What was it? What was the joke?
About the Xbox motor. It was just a joke from the Among Us VR devs.
Nothing funny like getting people's hopes up and shooting it down. One of my favorite jokes.
I know, like.
So is Mulder a real thing? Is it a real thing?
Well, this is the thing. It's up in the air. Like, until Xbox themselves come out with it, there's no real proof either way.
I tell you what's interesting. If they did decide to have a partnership with Facebook, and you was to look at, say, the Quest 2's library, well, that's absolutely going to run on a Series S. I could see some kind of partnership where the Quest 2's library became available with some kind of Xbox headset partnership.
So what you're on about there, Anime, was says here still the developers had a little fun with Xbox fans earlier this week when they included the Xbox motor in a survey of devices that people might want to see Among Us VR included on. And yeah, you can see Oculus Go, Oculus Quest 1, Rift S, Pimax 4K, 5K, and 8K, PlayStation Portal S. I'm not sure what that is. They've got PlayStation VR, Samsung Gear VR. I didn't know Samsung did VR headset, but Sensorama, Virtuality, and Xbox Motor.
I remember seeing that when I registered to beta test Among Us VR. And I find it hard to believe that it was just a joke, but that's a great way to cover it, if you know what I mean.
If someone accidentally leaked and they're like,
Yeah,
it's a joke, it's not real.
It is on the pure Xbox website, so it might be them covering themselves.
Yeah, you can't believe everything you read on the internet.
Yeah, it's a question of reliability. Are the sources reliable? Right now, we don't know.
No.
Well, and even the official channel promised a partnership and it fell through back in 2013. So who knows? But I suspect we'll learn something October 11th. That'll be
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. It was
Uh,
also interesting, you know, what was it? What was the AR thing they did?
What do you
Xbox and
mean?
HoloLens.
Microsoft did.
The lens.
HoloLens. They sold it. They've got a contract with the US military to be used with the soldiers.
Yeah, I heard about
Yeah, yeah.
They
Yeah,
won't
Actually,
make them better than the British.
I tell you something. It's funny because it's like you take the Kinect, you know,
the
Kinect
360 Connect.
360. Yeah, 360 was good. And then they did, bundled it in and kind of pushed it on you to buy when you got the Xbox One. And obviously they pulled it out
Anime
separate.
Razza's showing
you
it
know.
on his camera now.
There we go. But now
Yeah.
it's used in so many different
Yeah,
applications in different things. It's used in
Yeah.
hospitals. Sky, we've got. I don't know if what your equivalent would be over there, Pest. It's like cable TV, but Sky
Sure.
It's Sky TV. They've brought out a new product called Sky Glass, and they've got a partnership with Xbox. So there's actually a rumor early next year that the actual app will come to the Sky Glass TVs early next year. But they're also going to be getting an extra device which will connect to the TV, which it happens to be Connect.
Yeah,
so you're going to make use of it.
So the 360 Connect the military were actually using quite a lot, and I do believe they still are. They were also using the 360 controller as well to remotely control like bomb diffusals,
Drones.
IEDs, diffusals, and drones and whatever else. But the Xbox, believe it or not, the Xbox One Connect, they're actually using in security at airports now. I have seen a video where they were using it. I think it was in one of the Manchester terminals over the, when you go through the metal detector, they had an Xbox Connect looking over the top, looking down, and they were using the infrared lasers.
As well.
They were using the infrared lasers to basically see through your clothes.
Can you imagine? You're trying to disarm a bomb. They're like, no, the red wire, I can't. Stick drift.
It's not me. It's not me.
There's a version 2 of the HoloLens now that's used in applications like that. I know I got to see a tour of an Intel fab on a YouTube channel. I think it was Linus Tech Tips. They had a heads-up display AR thing they used for training, and I mean, screwdriver here, so there's a lot of cool applications for stuff like that. And I don't know if that was actually HoloLens 2 that Intel was using, but that's the kind of application you see that sort of thing. If gamers should be mad at anything from Xbox, it's that they walked HoloLens out on stage, and we all thought it would be for gaming. And it was never going to be.
But the thing with the HoloLens though is you were supposed to be able to take it out with you. It was supposed to be Bluetooth to your mobile device, and it worked with Google Maps and whatnot, and that just kind of flopped, didn't it? Because you have to use a cable with it.
Yeah, it was never going to be a consumer product at that stage in its development. Eventually those will be consumer products. And,
I will be honest though, the HoloLens is way, way, way too advanced for this time right now. I'm going to say that.
I got something interesting though. There's a different approach to AR that's more affordable and just around the corner. And that's with the high definition pass through. I don't know if you've seen with the Quest 2, you can see your environment around you, and it's in black and white and kind of a low frame rate and not a great resolution and not awesome, right? But the Quest Pro that's going to come out, they're going to talk about it October 11th, and we'll see when it actually comes out. It's not going to be cheap. It's got full color pass through it, a high frame rate, and good resolution. Something you could actually wear and look around your environment. It will put stuff in your reality that way with a headset on your face. And that way you can house enough processing power and battery to make that kind of the HoloLens demo a reality through this pass-through wearing a full headset. And that's going to get better quick enough to fulfill that dream.
Do you not think it would look a bit weird, though, if people were walking around with like an Oculus Quest headset on? Or do you not think it would look a bit weird with someone walking down the road, talking to someone
Absolutely.
who's just got this whacking grey headset on their head, it'd look a bit weird, wouldn't it?
Well, they
Isn't
don't. I mean,
it
first off,
all a man?
yeah, they don't work outside anyway because a lot of the tracking's infrared, right? Now that'll be different with the Pro because it looks like it's going to have cameras in the controllers and they'll track their environment. And then when you move them, that's how they'll know where they are instead of that ring with the infrared sensors in it, right? So it's not impossible that these devices work outside eventually. They don't now. But also, there's a new lens technology. They call them pancake lenses. And you'll see it in the Quest Pro. The thickness of that device is going to be about half what you would see on a Quest 2. And then they're moving the battery to the back as well. So much more balanced, about the same weight, but much smaller on the front and more balanced weight distribution.
Yeah. Well, looking, did you? Obviously, I know we was talking about the VR stuff. I don't know if you want to take us into the PlayStation VR stuff. I don't know if you planned on mentioning that at all, or we're just chatting about it.
Yeah, and that it was a smooth conversation that was getting there.
That's fine, yeah. Because we were talking about the pass through and stuff. I don't know. Did you watch the hands-on takes with the PlayStation VR 2?
I did. I watched a couple different channels because I think the Oasis, I think his name's Mike, that YouTuber had probably the highest level of access of anybody I saw mess with it. And I
Yeah.
don't have a PlayStation 5, and it's not confirmed that it's going to work with PC. So I'm not as interested in it as I am other headsets, but it appears to be a very nice headset.
Yeah.
I can't tell if it's using the smaller lenses because it looks like a pretty bulky device. So I suspect that it's using the old style the lenses, which is fine, but they do it is a bulkier design. The headset itself looks really good. It has eye tracking, which a lot of people immediately assume is just for social applications, but that's not entirely true because if you wear a headset now, there's kind of a sweet spot. I don't know if any of you use one. If you wear one, there's kind of a sweet spot where you look at objects, and those are where they're most clear, and you
Yeah.
can read text better there, etc. Well, with the eye tracking, it knows where you're looking, and it sharpens the resolution where you're looking. That's called foveated rendering. That'll improve system performance somewhere around 50%.
The odd thing
And it,
is, I think
yeah,
Microsoft may have been trialing something similar because I received an update a couple of weeks on my Windows 11 PC, and yeah, wherever my mouse is, it seems to be a lot clearer. My other two screens will just completely blur out, and parts of the screen I'm on will also blur out. Like it's kind of weird. It's not doing it now because I think it knows I'm streaming, but it's been really weird. It keeps like going on and off and kind
that's
of weird.
interesting. How long had you say you've been awake when you saw that?
I think it was last night, wasn't it, BMG, where you come into voice chat that we're in now, and I was flat out asleep.
Yeah, fast asleep.
I don't know.
But yeah, looking at the say the inside out tracking with the PSVR 2 looks like it's
Yes.
quite well, from what it's shown us that we could see the way they did it. Looks very clear. You can map your area that you've got as well. The controllers, which is also is going to have DualSense features in as well as the headset. They pretty much, is it the Oculus or is it the what was the other one? It's got the same sort of controllers with the rings on them. Is it the
Well,
Oculus?
yeah, they all kind
Yeah.
of have rings on them right now.
Yeah. So they're pretty much the same, aren't they? Yeah. So yeah, with the DualSense features in them, DualSense features in the
No
headset.
single ladies.
That's it. But it looked
Indeed.
really good hand-on impressions with it, and one
I-
cable, not
Yeah.
20.
I'm
You-
hoping they also release some
you
kind of
s-
wireless adapter, especially
you
since
say
the
that?
PS5 has Wi-Fi 6.
You say that there's one cable. There's going to be a USB-C cable for the headset. But there is going to be mini USB to charge the controllers.
The PlayStation 5 has both the USB ports on the front.
Yeah.
They've designed it so it will be able to have the PSVR is going to run directly out the front of the console. But if I don't know if anyone else has seen the PlayStation VR 1, but you had a little breaker box, and there was about 3 or 4 cables coming out that one end, 3 or 4 cables coming out the other end, and you couldn't, it was messing around, trying to set it up. It was an absolute joke. You'd only get it out if you was desperate to play it. But one cable in, that I can handle that. That's a lot better. It's a day one purchase for me. I will be picking it up. I hope we have a lot of crossover with the PC side of stuff for the PlayStation.
You know what's kind of cool about the PlayStation 1 VR or PSVR 1, right? Because that sounds more clear. Is it was kind of what you would expect somebody to hack together in their basement that were pretty clever, right? And so the fact that Sony made this an official thing where you're going to hack together the Move controllers and that camera thing they had with this headset, and it's going to work, and you're going to be able to play these VR games on a PlayStation 4. That's kind of what I would expect someone to do in a basement. So I think it was kind of cool that they actually went forward with that, even though it was such kind of a hack together mess. Where this second iteration is going to be a much more polished, much more refined product. The question is going to be really what it costs. But at the end of the day, you take a $500 console or whatever they cost now. I know they're going up in price depending on your location. And you're going to have some premium VR experiences that are very convenient and easy to do. I don't love the fact it's wired. I'm hoping that they come up with a wireless option. I'm very spoiled by the wireless AirLink aspect of the Quest 2, but there's some compression stuff there. It won't look as good, right? To me, it's worth the sacrifice to not deal with the cable, but it is only a small cable. So, no, I think it's a very exciting device, and it's something that at least right now Xbox doesn't have an answer for. And if you want to kind of look at the history of things since 2013, the goalposts have been wherever Xbox wasn't. And you can attribute that to media bias or anything else you want. I've got my own opinions on that. Well, we're about to have a spot where Xbox can't go yet. So not only is it going to be very convenient, very premium, but Xbox can't go there. I think it's going to be the new goalpost location.
Speaking of,
Cool.
I was going to say, speaking of things that the goalposts are where Xbox isn't.
Indeed.
You look to the right hand side of that article. Detachable bloody disk drive.
I like that.
I
think
don't.
they should do it. I do. I think they should do it with the S also.
No,
The Series S.
that's the PS5. The thing is, Xbox did that with the 360 era.
No.
I didn't even know there was a discless 360. Was there a
No,
discless 360?
no, it wasn't discless. It's when it was the battle between the HDD
The
films
HDD.
and
HDD and Blu-ray.
Blu-ray, and Xbox came up with that external drive to play your HDD, whatever it was, HRD, whatever it was,
HD DVD.
films. That's it. So, because they were trying to battle that, so that was the external drive for that. The PlayStation 5 thing you're on about is in was it fiscal year 2023 back end, which is what brings you to early 2024, and the next actual iteration of the PlayStation 5. It's meant to be a smaller, slimmer console with a detachable disk drive, but the idea is it's not going to be a cable and a separate thing. It's literally going to be a part slot in, slot out. So you're not going to have like this big gap so it looks awful. It's going to be, it'll
It's
fit with the
modular.
aesthetics of it. Yeah. And then when you've taken it out, obviously it'll all look, it's not like a separate bit connected by a cable or anything like that.
Right. So it's a bit like.
So it's a bit,
like
Razza, it's a bit like your hard drives in your PC.
Oh,
I was going to go with the hard drive extension in the S and the X, which slided.
It'll be attached in. It'll fit the console. It'll be inside the console. You'll be able to take it out and have digital only. But then I'm assuming it'll be like a flap or something like that. I'm assuming that will cover the bit where you've then taken the disk drive out. That's how I assume it would look. But again, this early on, it's little bits of rumors and things that get in. How you look at take the Series X for example, all leading up to the near enough last minute before they actually made the thing, of all the different designs they had. Someone's probably seen a plan or a a model made or something of a possible model, and they've kind of started running with that. Maybe there's gonna be a lot of changes and things leading up to that time. So I would imagine it's gonna be a lot different from what it's described. Personally, it makes no odds. I both my PS5, my Series X, both have disk drives. I don't use them. It's nice to have them there, but I don't use them.
It's great to have it. It's great to have it so you can play your CDs from the early noughties.
CDs back from the But if they release the Series X without a disc drive, I would have probably picked it up. The only reason I've got the disc drive in the PS5 is because it's the only one I could get hold of. Otherwise I would have gone for the digital only because I don't own any games physically, not one.
Well, you could shove your Blu-ray discs in there.
I don't have any Blu-rays because I stream everything. Why do I want? I literally my wife and daughter, they did a car boot. I gave them a Samsung 3D Blu-ray player, right? That wasn't cheap with some Blu-rays. Says, let's go and sell that. Do you want to know how much they sold it for?
100 quid.
I think 100 quid. What do you reckon, Ryan? Anime?
20.
Pest.
I took my number. He took my He took my number. I'm going to say $5.
£8.
Price is right rules. I win.
With Blu-rays.
So how much do they normally cost? Like 200-300 quid, aren't they?
Yeah, that's the thing. They're nowhere near worth as much as they used to be when they first came out. Because to be honest,
back then it was new technology, wasn't it?
Yeah, we're in a streaming age now. It's I can't even remember the last time I even used a DVD or a Blu-ray. I can't even remember it's been that long. I can't remember the last time I put a disc in a console because it's easy. New games coming out. I go on my phone, I click a button, pay for it, it's downloading. Time I get home, it's ready to play.
Yeah.
Okay, you're absolutely right. You're 100% right. But I don't like new stuff. I don't watch new things. Like my wife and I, we watch Cheers with dinner and old episodes of Gunsmoke. Right?
Oh, I love Cheers.
It's such a good show. It's held up so well.
does.
I love the old westerns. I love Gunsmoke. Right? If you try to stream Gunsmoke, first off, it lies to you about what season you're watching. That's not what season it is. And then there's not a whole lot of it on there. So I buy those discs for the seasons, and I watch these old shows because I'm old and I like this old stuff. So I like to have a disc drive. You're absolutely right in every regard otherwise. I would like to see Sony hold the same philosophy for this external disk drive as they have with their M.2 SSD, whereas you can buy anything and put it in there and you don't need the proprietary device. It would be really cool if they did the same thing with the external drive, because the games are going to run off the internal hard drive anyway. They're not going to run off the disk. It's too slow. And that would completely nullify the point of having your SSD, right? If you're going to try to stream assets from a Blu-ray player.
Yeah.
So it would be cool if they opened that up to any Blu-ray player will plug in with a USB instead of the proprietary route, but it sounds like that's probably what it is.
Yeah. But it's interesting. It's a different route to go, but personally, it's with like game wise, we are getting more and more. I don't know what the sort of numbers are like in America, but in the UK, we are more now of a digital. Games are more digital than they are physical in the UK.
I think Britain's at this point, the United Kingdom at this point, is pretty much fully adopted the digital ways.
No, it's not. No, game wise, I think game wise, it's still only around the 70% ish area. There is still
like coffee, then, isn't it? 70% of Britons drink coffee than tea.
Yeah, that's it. There's still that, but it's like it's every year it's more and more increasingly getting towards digital because it's the convenience. It's all about convenience. Yeah. We've all got limited time. I haven't got time to. There's a new release coming out. Just say I haven't got time to go and stand outside a shop because it comes out at midnight to get the game, to then get home to put the disc in. Then it needs to
wait for the day one patch to download,
and then it needs to patch. So I'm not playing it then. But yeah, a digital download nowadays. Most games will let you pre-install it a day or two before, few
Yeah,
days before,
and
and then when it releases, the patch is automatically downloaded. So the time you click it to play, you're playing the game ready.
it's the thing with preloading the game as well is like if you wait for the game till day one, you know, you've got to wait. You know, you've got to wait for your download because of the congestion of
yeah.
everyone downloading the game at the same time. So you end up with people I see all the time, you know, with like Call of Duty downloading. You've got millions of people downloading Call of Duty at the same time. And then you start seeing on forums and support pages and whatnot, like with like Microsoft, you say people going, "Oh, my download speeds are really slow." And it's like, right, but what you're not taking into account of is the millions of people around the world downloading that same game at the same time you are, but you're going to a forum to complain about it. That's not how shit works. You know, you can't complain to an ISP. You can't complain to you know, game developer because the servers are slow. That's not the case. They've got to share, like Microsoft, for instance. They've got to share, I think it's like 2 petabytes worth of bandwidth with millions of people around the world. Maybe possibly even billions of people. So, you know, see, you can't really complain about download speeds. You can't really complain about, you know, I mean, yeah, it's some cases buying a physical copy may actually be faster than
No, because not how many games now have the full game on the disc?
Right.
Yeah.
Not many do.
Well,
Many, it's just part of the game.
Speaking of discs, however, they have actually increased the size of discs. Blu-ray discs specifically, they've managed to fit an entire terabyte of storage on one Blu-ray disc.
I thought you meant the size.
No, the disc is
I was going to say,
how's
that going to fit in my console?
the size
sizes.
the disc, however, is still the same size as a normal Blu-ray. The fact that they've managed to fit an entire terabyte worth of data on a single disc is pretty insane. Right, now Bungie could shut the fuck up about the 120 gigs of data.
Al, thank you for the screaming. Thank you, but nah, I'll just stick to digital. You know,
Yeah.
It's the convenient. Like I say, it's all comes down to convenience. It's easy, it's simple. Everything's there, ready to go when you need it. You're out and about. Say, for example, Game Pass, an announcement comes out for a game, or PlayStation Plus announcement comes out. Game's available now. I'm at work, wherever. Click, download. It's ready to go.
It is pretty handy doing that. I'm assuming the PlayStation got something similar to what Xbox have.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, pretty much. But with the PlayStation Plus Extra, PlayStation Plus Premium, it's pretty much Xbox Game Pass, but without
more expensive
day and date. It's not. It's actually cheaper. It's actually cheaper than Game Pass Ultimate. Not by much, but it's cheaper. But you don't get day and date first party games. So you are limited there. But the reason the extra tier is quite good value, but it's still the same. I can go on now, look at PlayStation Plus Extra on my phone, and just send it straight to my console, and it'll download. So same sort of thing. But it's like say, it's just that whole having to get a disc, put it in, and it's put in a place for everything. It's just for me, it's easier just to be all digital. It's easier. There is one TV series when we're talking about TV series. I'm a huge fan of Smallville, the TV show.
Oh yeah, I seen you watching that.
Huge fan. It's
I
on
never
Amazon
liked Batman.
Prime. No, I don't like Batman. Who dresses as a bat and runs around at night time with no powers? It's stupid.
Exactly.
But Smallville's currently over here on Amazon Prime, so I am currently watching it on Amazon Prime halfway through season 2. But I also own the entire DVD box set of Smallville as well, which I'll never let go because I'm just such a fan of it. It's like that is something I want to keep. And I'll never let it go.
Just speaking of the Xbox app, this is what you're on about. Where like on my phone, I can just click play. So I can just play it on my phone. so long as I hook
Or
up my
install.
Xbox controller, or you could literally click install and install it to your Xbox.
Mm.
It does also. I'm not going to show the installed to screen because it will show my other Xbox and my PC with IP addresses. So I'm not going to show that.
But a positive with the with discs though, was it Jez Corden? I can't remember if it was it today. About the DRM, the improvements on it. You'd be able to play your disc games offline. They only have to do an initial check when you put them in. They haven't quite. I don't think they've quite said, because I think it's weekly, isn't it? Is it weekly or every few days? They were doing the DRM thing, doing the checks, the online checks. And they've changed. They're changing all that, so it's going to be a lot better. So you'll be able to play your games offline, which is big. Apparently, doesn't really affect me because I'm digital, but I believe it's quite a big thing they've always had an issue with as Xbox on that side of it.
Speaking of Xbox, they have a new controller, don't they?
They do, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Kind of.
So does
Yeah.
PlayStation.
New Xbox Elite Series 2 controller is now official. Is $50 cheaper than the black version with fewer accessories.
The core.
Yeah,
Well,
that's the
it does
white.
have a screenshot button though.
It's a white version with, well, it looks like black paneling, well, black rubberized grips, which shouldn't they really have made that white as well? Just a thought.
It's a different. I like it. It's different.
I mean, it just looks like the normal Series 2 controller, but
I know. I'm with anime. I like it too. I like it because I don't use the paddles, so, and they're not included, so I'm not paying for them, and I don't use them anyway because it take too long to retrain my old brain to use them. It's cheaper. It's got the screenshot button. I use an Elite 2 with my PC every time I use. I love the battery life, and it's so comfortable. So I mean, I like it.
I'm just using the standard Xbox controller. Oh, there's not even an Elite.
I like though, because obviously I've seen the core, and obviously it's something I wouldn't use, to be honest. I don't really do competitive gaming or anything like that. I like the standard controller. I like that you can now, the Elite Series 2, you can also, from later this year, you're going to be able to do in design labs. So you're going to be able to design your own Elite Series 2 controller, which I think's the even better thing over the cheaper version of the Elite controller. Being able to go in design labs, because you could do some awesome stuff in there.
Can
Sorry,
we have the cheaper one? Also on Design Labs.
it might possibly, yeah, but that could possibly be a thing. You don't know. We just know the Elites.
This controller here that I'm holding in my hand is a Design Labs controller. I got it with the white backing on it. This controller, when I was gonna buy it, the actual version of it it's all red, and I didn't like the whole red, so I put this bit here white. Kind of a bad idea because now I'm gonna get sweat stains on it.
Now you got to wash your hands. That's never good.
See, one thing that I would love to have back, and I've still got it somewhere in here, and I would love to recreate my 360 controller if I can find it.
Yeah, get rid of that stupid bulky battery pack off it.
No.
I hated that battery pack on there. That always, because like
What? It balanced the weight.
Because like
The
if
controller.
when I'm holding like that, like with the old battery pack, you know, it used to get right in the way of my fingers. So I was having to hold my middle fingers up like this, away from it, and it really kind of affected my gameplay and kind of gave me sore fingers. And yeah,
That's how I hold the. That's how I hold the.
but
that's
this
literally
when
how I hold
when
the
I've sat there with it under my desk, you know, my middle fingers always sit about there. I'm nice and comfortable there, and you know.
I mean,
I
how
was-
spoiled are we like with controllers these days? Like even the controller that comes with the consoles feels great. Holds up for a long
So-
time. Like how spoiled are we on controllers today?
No,
Like
yeah.
the fact that the controller that releases with the console feels better than the Elite 2 does in your hands. Like don't get me wrong, I like the weight of the Elite 2. If I had to pick one to play with every day, I prefer the controller that came with my Series X.
those of you that
controllers are
I
so
do.
good today.
Those of you that don't know, there was actually a firmware update to all Xbox controllers. When you sync them now, so this is Xbox, flash normally. If you then double tap your sync button, you'll now do that. That's now in PC mode. it will eventually connect to my PC. But
It's the same with the Xbox wireless headset, the new headsets. I think I can have it hooked up to my phone as well as my Xbox, and then I can switch it over onto my PC by just double tapping the button as well, which is which they had brought for the headset first, which is good. It's a good thing to have multiple devices being able to do it, but I get confused very easy, so I like things simple and easy. I have my Xbox with a headset with a controller. That's it.
they
You-
also did bring a feature in it a few months ago now where you could actually dim the light both on your Xbox controller and on your Xbox itself.
You
That's
can
I think that's in the accessibility options, I think.
something like that, yeah. But yeah, you
don't
can
remember.
change it. But if it's, I think,
I mean,
yeah, you
LEDs are they're like super efficient, so you don't really need to worry about how much power your light is using on your Xbox. I mean, yeah, it makes sense to dim it because you don't like if you sat in a dark room playing a game like, say, for instance, Phasmophobia, and you've got this bright ass white light pointing at you. It kind of makes sense to be able to dim it, and
I like it on. I like it. It adds all to the Xbox. I like it nice and bright. My little
I've dimmed mine down.
tower.
You can't actually see it. You can see my printer though.
I mean, my Xbox is literally sat right in front of my screen. So if I'm looking at my screen in a dark room,
There's mine, the original Xbox One. Hell yeah,
Sweet,
it's the way to
sweet
go.
VCR edition.
Yeah, it's the way. It's the way to go. The big bulky ass thing. The way to go. Gets hot though. For a few years, it get hot now.
what I was trying to say was I would like the Gears of War.
Yeah. Did they not do
from-
it? Did they not do it, Gears of War?
Yes, but it didn't look as good.
And not for the new series consoles.
No, they did it for Xbox One.
But I didn't think it looked as good.
They did a headset for the One X.
Why would I care about a headset?
What else we got tonight, boys?
In fact, whilst we're all here, what have we all been playing this week?
You go first, Pest.
This week I've been playing VR. I experimented with the Half-Life 2 VR mod, and that was my Monday video, my raw play of that. I was super impressed. Really enjoyed that. And then my Wednesday video that comes out tomorrow, I'll go ahead and say it's a game I've not played before. I found it in a Viveport subscription. Viveport is kind of like Game Pass, but for VR. And I think there's around, it's just all headsets are supported, etc. I think there's around 1,000 games support the Oculus Quest 2 over PC VR. They don't run natively on the headset. So it's called A Fisherman's Tale. That's my Wednesday video. And then Friday is the game I kind of always put up on Friday, Into the Radius, which just came to the Oculus Quest 2 natively instead of just PC VR. I love that game. It's very Stalker-esque, mysterious, and a great simulation, fun to romp around in. On my Xbox, my friend and I have kind of went back to Deep Rock Galactic. I don't know if you guys have played that one. Really enjoy that a lot. I think that's an underrated game. I don't hear people talk about that game. Looks great. It's only like 3.5 gigabytes. It plays awesome. I love PvE content. I'm getting too old for PvP. So I'm always looking for something that I can play with friends against the AI and just have a good time and make a night of it instead of sweating. You know what I mean? I can play hard for a while, but I get tired. I get stressed. So that's what I've been up to.
I mean, we've got the perfect game for you if you want to join us.
What you got?
Destiny.
Never heard of it.
Pest, aren't you working on your own game?
I've been working through some Unity tutorials. I've got several game ideas that I've had for years, and I've still not seen anyone else do. So I'm trying to develop the skills I need to make that happen, and I'm getting pretty close to finishing another tutorial. I've been going through them, and I got these kind of classes things from a resource online. I've been working through them and trying to learn C# and all that. And I'm on my way, but I've got so many irons in the fire.
Mm.
I don't know how realistic it is that I'll ever be able to get this out there, but I'm trying. Yeah, I've got some fun ideas for that.
Yeah, I've seen. I've been follow. So I'll say follow you on Twitter anyway, but seen like say your updates on Twitter of where you're at and what you've been doing and that. So really interesting. I'm looking forward to what you can see what you're gonna do eventually. It'll be cool to see when you get there. But no, it's awesome.
Yeah, and everything I've done so far really doesn't have anything to do with what I want to do. I'm just trying to
Mm.
build
Learn,
general
yeah.
foundational skills. And I've tried this before. I had created a kind of a bullet hell. You were a little ship defending a city, and it scrolled, and I coded that using the Game Maker 2 engine. And I used the code part because it's got kind of a part where you can just assign behavior to stuff. I didn't use that. I actually used the code, but I'm having to learn C#, and it's completely different.
Mm.
So yeah, there's that. Yeah, I know. I need to dig back down and finish that tutorial I'm on. Some of the lessons are pretty frustrating. If you've messed with game development at all, they kind of assume that you know something, or they show you what to do, but they don't show you why. So then you because you don't understand why it works, you don't remember how to do it. So
Mm-hmm.
finding these more basic level, explain to me why it works, and then I'll remember it, and then I'll be able to apply that going forward to build those tools.
Yeah.
It's hard to find those caliber of lessons. A lot of people just type this and this happens.
One of the things that I've learned over the years of doing is, and it's such a simple thing. Just fuck around and find out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when it comes to game deving, you don't really want to just fuck around and find out because you could potentially break your system doing that.
Oh,
Game-
I think you're pretty safe on that. If you're working within the constraints of a Unity engine or something, you know what I mean?
That's very true.
What about you, BMG? What have you been playing this week?
Well, obviously, well, same as us three. We've kind of had a bit of a break for Destiny. Only really been jumping in to do the season stuff because we're not really progressing. It's that. Oh, I think I've noticed it's they've definitely slowed things down. They've making it harder to progress. So it's like you kind of at that point. It's like, what's the point me doing anything if I'm not progressing to anything? Because it's so I've kind of Destiny's kind of half and half on the back burner. I'm in that bit of a lull period where it's like I want a game, but I don't want a game. If that makes sense.
You want a game, but you can't be bothered because every time you want a game, you
Yeah.
think of Destiny and the slowdown. You go, well, I can't be
Yeah.
bothered.
Yeah. But I've actually got. I'm going to be revisiting Quantum Break because I never managed to finish that, so that's re-downloaded, ready to go. I also have re-downloaded Forgotten City. Last episode, I kept calling it the Forgotten Ones because I couldn't remember the name, but it's the Forgotten City. So I've got that downloaded, and also that came out today. Deathloop is on Game Pass and PC Game Pass, which obviously was a
Marvel.
PlayStation exclusive for a year. It's now on Game Pass. I did dabble with it on PlayStation, but I wanted to really wait for Xbox. So I am going to be diving into that. And also on the PlayStation side of stuff, I'm playing Horizon Forbidden West. Lovely game, beautiful. Pretty much the same as the first one, but it's just prettier. And it uses the DualSense, which is good. And in preparation for God of War Ragnarok coming out in November, hopefully next month I want to tackle God of War 2018. Try and get that done before the new God of War comes out. So, but other than that, really, it's one of them. I think I'm more of just looking for something to start, some story wise to play and that. But when you got too many games that are heavily story focused, it's hard to remember what you're doing in which game and which controls are for which. But yeah, that's where I'm at.
Yeah, Anime Razza, what about you?
Me, because I've been back at work. Basically, done I've done this week's weeklies, not the weeklies, but the weekly quest for Destiny, and I've downloaded a couple of games, but I haven't got around to playing them.
Fair enough. The only thing I was just playing Destiny today, and one part of it that's starting to actually kind of piss me off is having to kill 50 champions. It's like, what the hell? It's like, why are you making us kill 50 champions? Like, why? It's just, I literally only got to like 9 champions and gave up and went, fuck this, I ain't doing this now. I'm just gonna leave it for another day when I can be bothered. When I've got the patience to do that.
I played Destiny 2 when it came out, and I played everything there was to play at the time. I don't remember anything, by the way, which is a little upsetting to me. That
Was that the new light era, or was that the red wall era?
I don't know. I don't even know. And I'd like to get back into it, but I'm kind of intimidated by how much they've added since then. And I think I started it up, and it had like a whole new scene. It started out, I was wounded, and I lost my little spark or whatever he is. And
it's like they almost need red wall era then.
Gone.
They almost need Destiny 3 to come out at this point, so that people like me aren't afraid to come back in. Does that make sense? Because I feel like I missed a bunch of stuff, and I don't know where to start, and I'm under level for everyone that actually plays, so I can't group with them.
It's definitely changed now, because now if you jump into it now, you go to what they call the helm. You get, and it puts your light level up to the soft cap automatically, so it gives you the stuff you need to bring you up. And there's also a timeline which pretty much tells you what's happened from the red water now, because all the content.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that properly in a few. Just because I've got a few comments to make on that.
Well, I guess I'll end on. I'm interested in
what we found out. That actually I think it was you, Anime Razza, that alerted to us about with Paul Tassi. We'll get to it in a minute. First, however, the games I've been playing. That's probably not going to be expected by any of you guys, but it's Death Stranding. Been quite enjoying that.
I knew.
You know, because you've got me on X.
You told me yesterday. I'm downloading Death Stranding.
I have been visually, it looks awesome. Death Stranding when you sat there and running it, on the system like mine. Holy crap, it looks amazing. I was watching a cutscene and I was sat there and I was thinking, wait, what is that texture? And then I realized it was freaking sand, and you could literally see every single grain of sand on a beach, and I was like, whoa. And then you're running around, and there's mechanics of your backpack's too heavy, you've got to lean to correct it, and the gameplay, it's so immersive. Though only thing that's annoying me about it, I was telling Anime Razza about it just before the stream, was some animations can take 10 to 15 seconds, and as BMG and Razza, you both know, I just want to get into a game and play the fucking game. I don't care about cutscenes. I don't care about the rest of that. But Death Stranding, I'm not skipping. I am not skipping a single cutscene on there.
You think Death Stranding? It's Death Stranding. Obviously, it's a Kojima production. It's a Kojima game. You go back and play Metal Gear Solid. Go with 4. 4's probably the better one. I think one cutscene lasts for about 35 minutes.
Fuck that! I'd have quit the game.
Oh,
it's so good.
But that's the only thing that's annoying me about Death Stranding is I'm not going to try not to give anything away. Basically, there's something called a BT, and I'm not quite sure what they are yet. I've not fully gone into it.
I don't imagine it will ever tell you either.
But there's a thing that you've got on your suit that kind of detects them. But when it starts detecting them, there's an animation that happens that lasts 10 to 15 seconds. You walk out the area accidentally and walk back in. You've got that animation again, and you keep doing it. You keep that animation just goes in every single time, and it's just like, oh come on. I don't care if a bit of metal just wants to sit there and spin around. I just
Hold your breath. The button to hold your breath.
that I don't mind, because I could still do stuff whilst the character is pulling his hand up to his mouth. I could still do stuff, but this stupid spinning bit of metal, I can't do anything until it's properly deployed. It's like, I just want to. Why can't you not just do what he does with the mouth? Just let me keep playing.
Kojima does everything Kojima does. He does for a reason.
Oh yeah, I'm aware of that.
Yeah.
And the other game I've also been playing is Rocket League. Trying to get sort of back into competitive, but not a game that's like Call of Duty that's going to make me rage. Rocket League, it's kind of different. There's a bit of a different skill to it. I can see BMG sitting there like wanting to just fall asleep because Rocket League, But I'm sort of enjoying it. I'm trying to get into it. I'm trying to develop my skills on it and trying to get better on it.
One game that I forgot that I because I literally just started it this afternoon was Total War 3 Kingdoms.
Oh yeah, I've been seeing that popping up on Discord. You playing that?
It's a great game. Like, I've gone literally from Total War Shogun 2 all the way up to Three Kingdoms, which I've missed a lot of games there, but it's still half decent to say. Like, how good it is, it's not a bad thing. But yeah,
Yeah. So the next topic I'm going to get onto is Ubisoft. What do you guys think about this $70 price tag that they're going to be slapping on the games?
Expected. Not being funny, EA did it last year. Was it late last year, early this year? The games were going up to let's go with $70 a game, which with price of inflation and stuff, we've had games for cheap for so long. It's don't get me wrong. Would I love games to always stay cheap? Of course I would. Cost of things go up. Wages go up. Technology goes up. It's one of them. It's something that was always going to happen eventually. Every generation of the consoles, the price has gone up. So it's not like it's a surprise. Ubisoft, I do remember, I think it was about 6-7 months ago, they did turn around and say they would eventually, prices would go up. It has been mentioned by them before, because obviously when EA went up, everyone automatically thought Ubisoft's going up straight away. But yeah, so their top, what they call their top AAA titles, are going to come in at $70. Expected. It's no surprise. PlayStation is, I know Xbox are at 60. They're staying at 60 for now because that's what they want to do. PlayStation, EA, and a few other developers are at 70. But they have also come out, Ubisoft, and said price for certain titles will be different. You take Assassin's Creed Mirage, which was announced at the Ubisoft Forward. That is going to be a $50 game. Here in the UK, that'll come in at £44.99 pounds for us, so $49.99 in America. So a cheaper game for a more traditional Assassin's Creed type game. But yet Skull and Bones is going to come in at $69.99, which is really don't think that should be a full price game. If I'm honest.
Just a quick one, BMG. Are you having an issue with your internet currently, or your computer? You seem to be lagging slightly.
No, not. Everything's working fine. Everything seems to be working fine. The internet's fine. Unless it's Discord. It might be Discord. I'll try and drop out Discord and I'll jump back in. You crack on.
I can understand the $70 price point. Like as BMG said, you've got the time it takes now to make these games is definitely increased a lot. You're talking about like the cost of like artists and even just like the increase of like the graphics and stuff like that. You're thinking it's understandable that these games are coming in at $70 now. You know, but yeah, and then obviously I see it like on Twitter and Facebook and YouTube and people complaining about games, costing between what $70 and $120 now, and it's people are just saying that it's absolutely fucking ridiculous. But one game I can tell you is ridiculous. That is really ridiculous is believe it or not iRacing. So you've got to pay a subscription just to access the game. And then you only get maybe 10 cars, 10 tracks, maybe.
I
But
was
then-
an iRacer 10 years ago. Heck yeah.
But then every track that comes out and every car that comes out, you've got to pay an extra £10 each.
It's true.
As
Yeah,
far
it's
as
very
I can,
expensive.
and it's like, well, but then you get games like Project Cars. There's even Forza Motorsport at this point as well, and you got Assetto Corsa. That just have mod access. Well, Assetto Corsa mainly having mod access. People just making and modeling their own cars and release them as a mod. Yeah, I personally think
iRacing's not a game though. You know what I mean? It's a simulator. Like
Yeah,
you
so-
can't
so
use an alias. You got to use your name. You got to pay to. They don't just have races you can jump in anytime they're scheduled.
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
But-
it's pretty hardcore. It's kind of an exception.
Yeah, that's where I don't like it's understandable to have a subscription with it, but I don't think they should make you pay £10 per car or £10 per track. I think that seems a little ridiculous, but I can fully understand, but it's $70 price point for games. Now that's
I don't
fine
know.
by me.
I don't like it. It's I understand that everything's getting more expensive in the world. The comment that everything had gone up, including wages. Well, mine haven't really gone up. My cost of living has gone up. My wages have not kept pace with that. So that means I have less income that's just for entertainment and throwaway. And I was never a big buyer anyway. Back in the 360 days, I might have 10 games per generation, depending on what they were, right? So I could experience a lot less and just buy things and spend more time on the used market. So when Game Pass came out, I was all in on Game Pass. And I like having that big library, and then I can try a bunch of different games without having to pay for them. So, especially spoiled by Game Pass since it came out, the idea of $70 feels just like a little bit too far for me. And I would like to see at some point, I know they say games take longer to make, they cost more to make now. It's like, why aren't the tools making up for that? Why are these game tools that come along not making games quicker to make? Why is it not making games cheaper to make? And instead of everything taking longer and costing more, I would like to better understand that. And I understand that they should cost more than they do, the $70, but it's tough on me when I look at a game and I see the difference between $60 and $70. That makes a difference for me. That's just enough extra where I'm like, nah, pass. And I don't know. I've started spending more time in Microsoft Rewards to earn a little extra money to knock that extra $10 off of there, so it doesn't feel like I'm paying 70 for the game. It feels like I'm paying 60.
See, I use a lot of different reward apps. Personally, not just to get by, but to have a little extra in my back pocket if I need it.
Hmm.
Can you all hear me?
So what are you thinking of this $70 price point then?
Me personally, I can understand why it's happening, but at the same point, why it shouldn't have got to the point where it's they're all announcing it at once. I think it should have been more of a slower pace than it has been in the last few years.
How slow? Because you look at games, you look at the game prices back in the 90s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s to now, you look at the price change and what games cost then, what we're getting, I think, don't get me wrong, I like it games are cheaper, but you look at what we get, how much money goes into them, and the content these games have, you're getting well above what you're paying for, and the cost really, I think it should really, technically, it would be higher, because it hasn't gone in line with all inflation.
Well, it's similar to a cost of a movie, isn't it? It's a couple $100 million these days to make a AAA title.
Yeah, but
It's pretty
just
subjective, right? Because
Yeah.
games are different lengths and the production quality is different. And sometimes you're paying to be able to have a water cooler moment. You're buying a game when it comes out, the day it comes out. That's a big budget. It's like a God of War. I don't know how long it was, but it's definitely not as long as Assassin's Creed Valhalla. And if anything,
Definitely
people
not.
have complained that there's too much content in that game.
there is, and there's
So-
more to come.
And that's what they say. It's like, oh, there's too much content in this game. It's like, I'm never going to complain about that because if I don't want to play it, I stop playing it. I can come back and play it more later, right? So that's a weird argument for me. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't argue that on average that we're getting more for our money than we used to get. And if anything, games are releasing in a worse state than they used to.
Maybe. But I think that more depends on the developer you're talking about there.
Of course. Nintendo games tend to release in a pretty finished state if you don't mind running them on 15-year-old hardware. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
This is probably more of a question for you, this one, BMG. How much does Horizon Zero Dawn, the complete edition, cost on
Zero
PlayStation?
Dawn.
Yeah. The full game, how much does it cost? Like all the
bought
DLCs,
it-
everything.
I paid £6.79 for it.
Right. Where was that at? Was that on PlayStation or?
That was on PlayStation. That was on offer. If I was to get it out of the offer, it would be $14.99.
Right. So to
Are
buy
you on
it-
about Zero Dawn? Or are you on
Yeah.
about Forbidden West?
No, Zero Dawn.
The first one that came
Yeah,
out.
yeah. So
Yeah.
how much was that?
Out of sale, it was $14.99.
How much was that brand new? The $50?
Brand
50
new.
50 quid?
It was $49.99.
Right. So, if you don't know about these sort of websites, you've got, for instance, CD Keys. There is also Kinguin, which I use a lot. I could pick up the game, the complete edition, on Steam, £12.19.
But I don't play PC.
Like all you have to do really is just wait.
True.
Wait a couple of months. I can do F1
No, a couple of
22.
months.
That's
No, a couple of months.
60 quid game, I think. 70 quid game.
PlayStation games don't come out day and day or a month or two after on PC. You're lucky.
I'm aware
You're
of that.
lucky if you get it within a year. I think Zero Dawn has not long actually gone onto PC.
So
Took a long time.
with a game like F1 that came out, I think, was the start of July. Could be wrong with that. And
Don't think anyone plays that, do they?
it was like 55 quid, 60 quid just for the base game, and it was like 70, 80 quid for the deluxe edition, if you will.
How much do the Call of Duty games cost?
And that,
There's certain games stay high.
You can pick up F1 22 now for £33, 36 on just on Kinguin. You could probably pick it up for 30 quid on CD Keys. You know,
It's the same with anything. Once something's been out for a while, the price drops. It's always happened in software with games. Games very rarely hold their same price for a long period of time. There are always sales. They're always dropping in price. That's always been a thing. That's nothing new. That's not to say a game you buy at full price on release isn't worth what you're paying. No, then it still comes to the argument: no one's forcing anyone to buy anything. No one forces you to buy a game. You can wait till it comes on PC, comes on offer, or goes into a subscription service.
Yeah.
It all depends when you want to play that game. God of War is going to be for the standard game is going to be $69.99. That is the standard edition of the game. I'll pick it up because I want to be. That's a game I'm excited to play. I will pick it up day one because I want to play it. If it was a game that, yeah, I'm looking forward to it, but I'm not in a rush to play it because I've got 101 things to do, I would wait further down the line and it'll probably drop in price, or there'll be an offer. But like, there are certain games you are going to pick up full price.
And to be fair, we're enthusiasts too, right? And there's that water cooler thing. You want to be able to talk about it with other people online and be excited about it. It's like, how many people are excited about Deathloop coming out today? Not really, right? Not really, because we had to wait.
Yeah,
We didn't have it when it came to PlayStation. We kind of missed that water cooler experience. Everybody's done talking about it, and I don't like timed exclusivity, especially for that reason. But that's part of the. You don't want to wait 6 months
No.
or a year to buy a game. You want to
No.
buy it while everybody's excited about it. It's
That's
fun
it.
to be excited about things when other people are excited about them for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And spoilers. You don't want
True.
to have something spoiled for you that you haven't experienced yet. It's because even though there's games that have had it spoiled for me. I think, well, I'm going to play it anyway. I don't care. But then it's always in the back of my head. Well, I've been told about this moment, so you're expecting this moment, and sometimes you can lose a bit of enjoyment in a game because you keep thinking, well, this moment's going to come up, and sometimes it's like say we enthusiasts, we want to be there out the gate playing it so we can all talk about it at the same time and discuss things and not have stuff spoiled for us before we've even touched it. And it's a sad part of the way social media is these days. Let's take the Grand Theft Auto stuff for example. It's leaked. It doesn't matter where you look. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
And you're trying to avoid it. You're muting stuff, but then someone else mentions it, and it's hard. It's hard trying to avoid stuff so you don't get spoiled, but that's just the world we're in these days. But
Yeah.
there are games I will happily pay full price for because I want to be in the experience day one. I want to be there. But there are games that I'm happy to wait for. And if it's on sale at the time, I'll pick it up. If it's not, then I'll still pick it up because I'm ready to play that game. There are limits. Of course, there's limits. I generally don't get a game and then complete the base game and get the DLCs, the expansions. It's not often I do that in a single player game. It's like Valhalla. I've got the base content in Valhalla. I've done the base content. Even though I've heard good things about the expansions, to me, well, no, because this is the experience they want me to have. This is what the story they wanted to tell. I don't want them to have to pay more to know this other stuff because that's not the core of the game. So I never really bother with that. It's very rare that I'll dive into that stuff.
And to be fair, maybe the part of the reason that I think $70 is too high is I can't think of anything that I'm excited about enough for the $70 limit, right?
Agreed. Yeah,
or
agreed.
the games that are coming that I am excited about, my expectation is already that they're coming to Game Pass, right? Because I'm not on PlayStation, I'm Xbox and PC and VR gamer, so my perception will be biased, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, it is. You do get that. That's the other thing. You get people that will turn around and say, "Oh, why Game Pass is bad for the industry because people are just waiting for games to come to Game Pass and not buying them and things like that." But I have Game Pass Ultimate. In fact, as Anime and Shadow Maul will tell you, I've got 5 Game Pass Ultimate subscriptions in my house. There's myself and my 4 children all have Game Pass Ultimate, but even they'll still buy games. I still buy games. It doesn't stop me buying games. There's certain games, whether it's in Game Pass or not, that I want to own or I want a license of. As I think we kind of got into a discussion. Can't remember if it was first or second episode over ownership of games now on the digital side of things. You don't really own a game anymore. You're paying to have a copy of the license until they decide to take it. Which again, I suppose you could also look at the price of things. You're paying $69, $99, $70 for a game that you don't own. Yeah, you might buy it physical and have a physical disc, but you still don't own any of the software on that disc. You lease a license until they decide you no longer lease a license, which you agreed to in the terms and conditions. So we never really own them anymore. But so I suppose you could look at the argument from that side. Why am I paying such a higher price for a game that I don't own? I lease. So I suppose you could look at it from that way as well, I suppose.
Well, and this is what we do. Some people like food. Some people go out and spend $100 on a meal. You know what I
True.
mean? You're going to
Yeah,
get way
yeah,
longer entertainment out of a game.
yeah.
Everything's perception.
Yes, yes, yes. But I don't mind, I don't mind paying for it. I don't mind, especially if it's a game I want, paying that a bit of a higher price because I want that experience. I want it. No one's forcing me to have it. No one's saying this you're never gonna be able to play this game unless you pay this X amount of price. It's I want to do that. Do I wish games would always stay cheap? Of course I do, but that's not the reality of life. The reality is everything goes up. Very rarely comes down. And I don't know. I can't recall a games console going up in price instead of down in price. It's a whole new thing here in UK and Europe. The console prices increased, which is a very strange thing, especially in such a short time into the life cycle as well. We're just with COVID and stuff now. It's different. Things seem to be working different and heading in a different direction, a more expensive direction. And I think before this generation's out, I think we'll see another price increase. Whether it be $5, $10, I don't know, but I think we're going to be getting hit by another price increase in software before this generation's out.
Oh yeah, guaranteed. I guess the.
Come on.
Is there anything you guys want to pick up on? BMG, Pest, Razza?
No, I think that's it.
No, I think if you've covered everything, have you?
Think so.
Unless you guys want to talk about Nvidia's keynote. I don't know how many of you are on PC are excited about that.
I've only seen little bits come up. I've not really looked into it because I'm not really on the PC side of stuff. So it's if you want to talk about it, Pest, you go away, my friend.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Let us know what's going on.
They have officially announced the 4090 and then two versions of the 4080, which is very interesting. One of them appears to be basically the 4070 in disguise, right? It's got less cores, it's got less memory, it's got 12 gigabytes of memory, and then the actual 4080 has 16 gigabytes, and then of course the 4090 is the big dog. It comes in at $1,600 MSRP, which is a lot. But the performance is exciting. The performance is exciting because it's the first time I've really seen viable ray tracing. And then it's also got a new version of DLSS, which that technology is interesting to me because it's about efficiency, right? It's about getting more for what you got, right? You can do more with less hardware. So that's exciting to me because eventually that stuff, not the NVIDIA tech specifically, but the equivalent thereof, makes its way to consoles. And when you consider that like the 4090 is somewhere over 90 teraflops of power and 3 times better at ray tracing, and then DLS 3.0 is we're looking at a significant console leap in the next 5 to 10 years, just as technology progresses outside of it. The advancements in AI to make things more efficient and I don't know, it's pretty exciting stuff.
Speaking of ray tracing, I did notice I think it was about a month ago, maybe 2 months ago now. Ray tracing has actually fully become real-time ray tracing now for NVIDIA GPUs.
Sure.
It wasn't fully real-time. It kind of was, but it was slightly off. But I did get an update and in that, but it was saying it was real-time ray tracing now. So
they of course didn't. This stuff hasn't been in the hands of third-party people to analyze it to see what it's actually going to perform at. But their demo showed like Cyberpunk running 22 frames per second with ray tracing on, with say current equivalent cards, and then with the new 4090 with the DLSS 3.0 going ray tracing, it looked like it was running above 90 frames per second.
that's
odd you say that. It's a $1,600 card, but it's still impressive.
Yeah, it's odd that you say that because I was couple of months ago, I was running Cyberpunk 20, whatever it is, and and I was running at 60 frames on psycho settings, fully ray trace on, and I was sat there at 60 frames, solid.
What are you using?
Oh, I'm only using a 2060, 12 gig card.
Oh, there's no way. There's no way. What kind of monitor are you running? There's no way.
I'm literally running it on a 1080p 32-inch Samsung TV, what looks like probably about 15 years ago.
Okay, I'm not as familiar. I'm not as familiar with the expected performance on a 1080p display. So that, I mean, generally at that resolution, you're going to be CPU bound. You know what I mean? Not like if they're testing CPUs against each other, they do it on 1080p displays. So I guess I can't comment too much on that. But that's pretty impressive. I know at 4K, even with the current 3090 Ti, you wouldn't expect to see. I mean, you could pull up one of my favorite resources is Testing Games. It's a YouTube channel, and they compare a variety of hardware across a variety of games and settings. It's a great resource to see what you can expect from this or that. And it appears to me that the new hardware is a huge leap.
I will say, though, that my GPU was getting rather warm. It was hovering around 82, and my GPU has an automatic shut off at 83.
Plenty of room. Plenty of room.
So, you know, 1 degree hotter and my entire system would have just shit the bed and gone to sleep and cooled off.
Yeah. My computer's around 5 years old. I'm in dire need of an update, especially running VR and then capturing the footage. So I'm hoping to some point early next year, middle next year, to build another system. I'm hoping that AMD can counter I was so impressed with what NVIDIA showed today that I'm kind of wringing my hands a little bit to see what AMD does. And I haven't built an AMD system in probably 15 or 20 years. And I was leaning towards it this time because the expectations are that it's going to draw less power. Like the 4090 is rated for 450 watts. And then, I mean, if you had like a 12900K or the Raptor Lake CPUs are coming soon, they can pull 250 watts to pay max load, right? You won't expect this all the time. But these computers are really starting to draw a lot of power. And then when you look at transient voltage on the GPUs, you got to worry about this thing burning your wall.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be chugging out some heat. So I don't think air cool's a viable option. You know, fan cooling's a viable option anymore. I think you're going to be looking for a full water cooled setup at that point with the 4090.
I mean, it's got an air cooler on it, so they're expecting it to do the job. Now it is like a 3.75 slot card, so this thing looks like a 4x4 stuck in your computer.
The question is though, how high are those fans are going to be running in RPMs? You know, because mine runs at 1600 RPM, and it's just about keeping it cool enough. You know,
we'll see.
Is he going to be running like 5000 RPM? Yeah, you know, that's what car shifting up in it.
Well, I mean, you figure the PCB is still wafer thin, right? And they're on the 4nm process, so that's smaller than it's ever been. So the entire rest of this thing is just cooler. And you're looking at, 3.75 slots worth of cooler. That's a lot of thermal mass to dissipate that range and surface area to cool. So I don't expect them to be atrociously loud, no.
Fair enough.
You just talked about stuff that I have no idea what you've said, made no sense whatsoever. Absolutely not a clue what you're talking about.
Well,
for all I know, you're talking about different flavors of peanut butter.
I like peanut butter.
So yeah, so it's just
no idea what you just said.
Speaking on PC part stuff, I was doing a comparison earlier of the I think it's the 12900 KF and the 5950X. Overall, apparently the 12900 KF is actually a way better CPU than the Ryzen 9 5950X. The only thing is the i9 12900 KF is about, I think it's about $50 more expensive.
It is, but there's a little like, and this will be my last big spiel that I go on, right? So I apologize in advance. If you pull up the YouTube channel Testing Games, anytime they do a CPU comparison, they do it at 1080p. Now, even I have a ultra wide, it's 1440p by 4K, and a lot of people use 4K displays. They don't test CPUs against each other on 4K resolution. They want them CPU bound. So they test them at 1080p. So the GPU is not the bottleneck. And you will see significant differences in CPU performance, right? But then Testing Games the other day, they did a test with a 3090 Ti, current baddest card you can buy, across a wide array of games, and they used every current 12th generation Intel processor you can get, so the cheapest one against their baddest one. And the only game that the cheapest CPU dropped any frames in comparison was Flight Simulator, and it was like 5 FPS. So like real world application versus what you see in these tests, and they're like, oh man, this CPU just curb stomped this one. It's like, yeah, in your very specific test, sure, but for real world usage. And then the 12th generation Intel's quite a bit newer than the 5950X. AMD's new CPU comes out this year. What, October, late September? Late September. It's coming soon. And then the Intel 13th Gen Raptor Lake comes out this year too. So they've all got new hardware coming out across the board anyway. All new platforms. Yeah, check them out. Testing games, great. There's no fluff either. It's straight to here are the settings, here's the game, here's the performance. It's a great channel.
Fair enough. Might have to have a look. I think BMG might want to look up on that as well and try and figure out what the hell we're on about.
Yeah, I've no idea. You're talking absolute French for me. Console gaming, I'm all about that. I can kind of talk my way through that stuff, but when you start talking,
yeah, but
Excel sheets and
here's the thing though, BMG.
Solitaire and Minesweeper stuff, there's no point even trying. I haven't got a bloody clue what you're talking about, right?
So,
my PC's that old, right? It's dust is holding it together. It's literally holding it together, right?
and I offered to go over there and clean it up for you.
I daren't, because if you clean it, I don't think it'd power on. I think the dust is literally holding everything together. So, but it's all French to me. I just want to like push a button, start playing stuff. Do you want to know how I turn my PC on? 1 second.
With a hammer.
Yeah. With.
I love the Superman chair, by the way.
Secret Labs chair, that one.
Yes, the Secret Labs one. I don't know if you can see it.
That's nice. That's a nice chair.
You'd have to tilt it so that we can see it.
Yeah, hang on. I think if I turn.
There you go, guys.
Yeah.
Your microphone's right in the way of it now.
I'm sitting on an old office chair that you couldn't give away at a boot sale.
Yeah, no, my wife was very kind to buy me this as a birthday present or anniversary. But yeah,
nice.
turns my PC on because I have to hit the power button that hard to get it to power up.
It sounds like it sounds like you're switching. It might be a little bit knackered.
No, it's just the newness is wearing off. That's all.
Just in spots. Shout out to our wives for tolerating our nonsense, right? Like,
definitely.
When we were 7, 8 years old, who'd have thought we'd have grown up and found women that would tolerate our hobbies? You know what I mean?
That's
Sincerely,
true.
The fact that my wife doesn't complain every day, what an idiot I am. At least out loud. How lucky are we on it? But the difference between PC and console, there are differences, but there's diminishing returns. There's a significant increase in cost if you're going to want to see these things, take advantage of these things, the effort you have to put in. And the fact is that Assassin's Creed Valhalla is still one of the best looking games I've ever played on my $500 Xbox. It is what it is.
Yeah. Like I say, definitely shout out to the wives and things, because she did buy me a 50-inch Samsung Ultra 4K TV. She did buy me my Series X. She also bought me my PlayStation 5 and my Secret Labs chair.
She's a keeper. She's a keeper.
She is. She is.
She's paying for that marriage. I'm joking.
Oh,
She's just buying you the stuff to keep you around, BMG.
And this explains the job she has.
What do you bring to the table? Never mind. Don't go that route.
Me?
The 5 Xbox Game Pass, the 5 Xbox Game Pass subscriptions that he's paying for.
There you go. Waiting for that family plan.
Exactly. Yeah.
We're
talking about. Yeah, definitely. It's something I'm going to use. It's the price of it as well. Was it $21.99 a month?
25 on it. You expect it to be 25 on it?
It's cheap. No. It's cheap. I love that you can have friends on it too, and not just people in your household. That's
yeah. That's my problem. Everyone in my household takes all the subscriptions up.
Exactly.
Very much looking forward to it. I'm sorry, guys. Are we far from wrapping up, guys? Because I've literally been going for like 4.5 hours and podcasting.
I think we're about there anyway. Obviously, guys, Stasis Chat. You click the subscribe button down below and hit the like button. Share it to your friends, family, and your uncle that might live across the world from you. Who knows? But make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit that like button down below.
Yeah, we're also on podcast services everywhere now. So if you like to share, give us a review, let us know what you think, any comments, anything like that, any questions you want to ask, hit us up, let us know in the socials.
We've got well, I guess say shout out to Stubbs for that one. I guess he's been big help helping us with that. Yeah, then you can come talk to us over on Discord, discord.io/stasischat. We're on the Twitter @stasischat. We've also got a Facebook page now. Facebook.com/stasischat. If you're over on Facebook, you can find out when we're going live. I've got my other half to thanks for that one because she's running that one for us. Yeah, make sure you go and follow a Friendly Pest as well. Shout yourself out, plug yourself.
Yeah, appreciate you guys having me on. I enjoyed the show. I like the differences of opinions. I like the variety of subjects. This was a fun one for me. If anybody wanted to check me out on Twitter @AFriendlyPest, or my YouTube channel, AFriendly is the first word, pest, AFriendlyPest. And then on Xbox @FriendlyPest. If anybody wants to play anything, I'm always up for a game, especially co-op, and I am interested in the Destiny thing. Maybe I'll look at that, but I'll be so far behind you guys.
Yeah, well, we'll help you with that one.
Help you.
We've got plenty of time on our hands right now with that.
I love a good PvE session. I love hanging out and just playing and not taking it too seriously.
I'll say this one thing though. As BMG and Anime Razza know, I'm sat around all fucking day doing nothing. So it'd be up on Discord if you want to play something, man.
I will. I do not have a ton of free time between working and then projects around the house and then running my channel. I don't have a ton of free time, but when I do have free time, PvE is usually where I go. So yeah, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thank you for coming along.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us.
BMG, where can we find you?
Oh, well, many a places. Obviously, it's Stasis Chat. You can find me over here on YouTube. You can find me on Twitter @BoldmanGamer. You can also find me over at the XBL Party Podcast on YouTube as well as Twitter. I am a panel member over there. And Roundtable Gaming, we do that roughly once a month, which is on hiatus at the moment. I do that with Stubbs Gaming and Luke Steele. But yeah, that's pretty much everywhere you can find me for the moment. Xbox at Boldman Gamer, PlayStation, Boldman Gamer 86. But yeah, that's me.
Anime Razza, where can we find you?
Find me here on YouTube. You can find me
just YouTube.
Just
again,
YouTube. Anime Razza.
This is it. Just find me on YouTube. We had this last episode.
We'll just use facial recognition software on YouTube.
What was it last week? Where can we find you? On Twitter. And that was it. It was like, right, just Twitter. We just type in Twitter and you're there. This week we're just at YouTube.
That was the whole point. I'm making that a standing joke.
Oh. Yeah, but is it a joke or is it just...
Last week was a cock-up. This week was intentional. Oh, so yeah, you can find me here.
He's dead now. He's recovering from tonsillitis, so bear with him.
Right. You can find me here on YouTube.
Is it just YouTube, though?
Right. You can find me here on YouTube if you search Anime Razza and over at Twitter Anime Razza, and on Xbox you can find me Razza J on 1994.
Well, thanks
and
everyone.
the same on PS4.
Okay. Well, thanks everyone for coming along. It's definitely been an enjoyable one with Friendly Pest. With his insight to VR. And BMG came a little bit late, but we can excuse him for that one. Like he said, he's been doing podcasting for the last 4 hours, so he was. Where was you tonight?
Yeah.
You were at
I was
XBL.
over at XBL. So we meet in the green room at 7:30, and then show goes live at 8. So we've been over there. So if you go check out the show, check out last episode, like, share, subscribe, download the podcast, give us a review, check out the website. We've got some interesting things coming, actually. We are looking at rebranding in October, so keep an eye out for that. And also starting a PlayStation focused podcast under the new rebrand, which I will be on the panel of, and I am in search of panel members. So we shall see where we go there with that. But yeah, keep an eye out for stuff. Check the guys out. Give them all a follow on Twitter. Follow everyone here on their YouTubes and the Twitters. It's been great to be on a show with you, Pest. I think this is like our second or third time now we've been on a show together. It's always insightful. It's always brilliant. Conversation's always good, and you always teach me something new. I am very interested in VR. I quite like where VR's going and like the future of VR. And yeah, it'd be great. Hopefully soon, I want to get the PlayStation VR 2. Hopefully we're cross-platform and we can play Smut online sometime.
Yeah, I'll have to.
I've never.
I think you'll. I think we BMG. I think me, you, and Anime Razza need to have a drink and some PlayStation when you get that. You can of Fosters.
It's
Right.
literally going to be dumb ways to die with Dave.
Don't put and punching holes in his balls as well. All right, guys. Well, I think that's everything. Thanks for everyone for coming out, and yeah, we'll see you in the next one. Oh, just before I forget, we might be doing some mini episodes, mini streams, just two of us. We're in the talks of that at the moment. So keep an eye out on the Twitter for that, and come to the Discord, and you might find some more information about that there. Yeah, so I think that's everything, and yeah, we'll see you guys all next time. Bye.
Bye.
See ya.